Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, back once again alongside the Spinner Mason to my Jimmy Brooks, the Derek to my Danny. He is Steven Jensen, and we are here for another edition of Degrassi Dudes. How you doing this morning, Jensen?
I'm doing good as always. Just kind of waking up this Friday morning, getting my weekend kicked off with some Degrassi dudes. So I always like starting the day off with this, and yeah, can't complain. Got a decent night's sleep, well, kind of. I might sleep a little bit later today, um, but yeah. How
Same,
about you,
same
man?
here. Same here. I got woken up at like 5 a.m. by my daughter. Usually she wakes up like 4 or 5 a.m. It's ridiculous now.
Oof.
She woke up 4 a.m. from my wife, and then she was like, you know what? Mom can't be the only one up with me, and woke me up around like 5-ish. So I was geared up and ready to go for FMC this morning, which man, I know you're not a big sports guy, Jensen, but this is the episode of FMC I suggest everyone watch. Me and Jeremy were in full first take Stephen A. Skip Bayless mode, talking about Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic for MVP. I also told the story of my visit to the White House in 2011 and meeting Barack Obama. If you see the tweet by Jeremy that he sent out during that conversation, we also talked about a little bit of Jersey Shore, a little bit of OC, a little bit of Entourage. It was a whole bunch of great stuff going on in FMC. So I suggest everyone go out of their way to watch it, even if you're not a big sports fan. We kind of talk about everything. But now we are here to talk about something that, me and you have talked about, in private. We've talked about on our post show, on our original show, back on, our Twitch channels. But the epic OG love triangle of Craig Manning, Ashley Kerwin, and Manny Santos. This love triangle that still gets people heated. Good morning to Eddie, Border Dude, Angel in the chat. I had a whole bunch of people I was telling Jensen before we went live in the True Hill Heat chat during Impact Wrestling watch along, talking about wanting to be here this morning for Degrassi Dudes. Everyone's excited to talk about this. How are you? Are you excited, Jensen?
Yeah, I'm very excited. And yeah, that's cool. Y'all should check that FMC show out. I'll take a look today as well. I used to be like really into like all the sports, like throughout like the 90s and stuff, especially. But then like I just gravitated more and more to like MMA wrestling and in the NFL. I'm really big into the NFL, like still to this day. But yeah, good stuff. It was good to see people in the chat as well. Hope everyone's having a good morning.
And we got a special person in the chat, Desi. Desi was the one that actually suggested this to us because we said last week on last week's show that we were going to take your suggestions on what we were going to discuss next. So we got a couple of great ideas. So once again, like I said last week, in the comments section, especially on demand, let us know what relationship. It doesn't have to be a love relationship. It can be a friendship. I saw one of the comments from last week was that we should do an episode talking about Manny and Emma's friendship, which would be a long, very long episode
Yeah.
that we would have to dedicate to that one because that goes from season 1 all the way through season 9. We had Drew and Bianca was suggested to us. I got to go back to. I'm gonna actually go back here to the comments. So CM actually says CM was actually in the chat for True Hill Heat yesterday talking about being here for Degrassi Dudes, but she was the one that suggested Emma and Manny's friendship versus Paige and Marco's.
Oh,
We
okay.
we also got Angel, who's here with us in the live chat, who said they stopped watching Degrassi after season 6 because JT dying broke their heart so much, which
Yeah, I get it. That was
100%.
yeah, that was that was the most depressing thing that ever happened on the show.
And then we also had JJ in the chat saying haven't watched much. He said he left his watch along of Emma and Sean in a good place, so it seems weird that Spinner and Emma end up together. So yeah, we appreciate all those comments in the chat in the comment section from last week. We want to see some more because we're letting you guys kind of decide what we're talking about. We already have plans though. Next week we're gonna have a special guest, content creator that I brought up the last couple of weeks, not a vampire, that does very insightful, in-depth content on Degrassi, its character work, how the characters evolve. A great series, Death in Degrassi. I know Jensen was able to check out their work last week. What did you think?
Oh, really interesting and very in depth. So, yeah, I was impressed, and I'm interested to have them on the show because we may have some different views on things potentially, but I think it could make for some like really interesting conversation. And I might just agree with everything they say, to be completely honest. But it's gonna be one of those things where we're gonna have someone else on here who like deeply analyzes and picks apart and like breaks down. Like, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting and a lot of fun show next week. So yeah, me and SP3 are gonna record that this weekend, and then we'll air it on Friday, but we'll be here live as well at like the beginning and end of the show, like we did the last time we did it when we had Amanda on. And then we'll like roll into the post show with everybody. So we're gonna be talking about Campbell Saunders.
Yes, one of the more important storylines from like season 10 on. Like we said, we want to show love because a lot of I agree with like Angel, and I was kind of like that myself. After season 6, my viewing of Degrassi kind of lingered a little bit. Like I watched some of season 7 that I could remember watching when it was actually going on live, but definitely into like season 8 and 9, I was like into college years, and I got less and less watching Degrassi. And like I said, I was able to rewatch and binge watch everything and complete from season, through season 14. But one of the storylines that definitely stood out was season 12. Campbell Saunders, his whole relationship with Maya, the whole love triangle with Zig, and then finally his whole demise, where they really went in depth about the psyche of someone who, wants to commit suicide or is feeling lonely and depressed, and they really go in depth about it. And I'm very happy and excited to have Not a Vampire on with us because they do very in-depth work, and we're going to go in depth about the whole Campbell Saunders storyline.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, and I'll say it again, check out their YouTube channel. It's not a, and I think vampires with a Y instead of an
Yes.
I. And just if y'all want to get kind of familiar, I'm gonna watch more of their videos as well. I've watched a few of them, but there was like quite a few videos on there to watch. With some good viewership as well. Like there's a lot of people that are watching those videos and interested in what they're putting out there. So I'm excited. And also just real quick, a little off topic, but was there a new South Park this week? I haven't checked yet.
Jeremy said there was. I wasn't able to watch it. I did watch the one that you talked about last week, and that was a great episode talking about the airsoft. You think that it's gonna go in like Jeremy was saying on FMC, you thought it was going in the direction of like gun control and gun rights, and then it completely turns it on its head, and it's more about their teenager. My teenager hates me is the title of it, and just the kids kind of becoming the adults and talking about the teenager. Cartman with his teenager talking about, oh, it loves to go in the bathroom with lotion. Like how much dry skin do you have? Like it's great stuff.
What you do to Jergens lotion isn't right. That was I laughed pretty damn hard at certain points of that episode. I loved when Jimbo shows up and like the music hits and he's got like the giant like thing under his arm, like that giant gun,
like a freaking bazooka airsoft gun.
And then the way that they lure the teenagers to one spot for the grenade, they just like he opens up some Integrity weed and puts it there, and all those kids, dude.
And then the grenade was great. Just the grenade with the aerosol button, and then Cartman going off on his teenager in the bathroom was awesome too. And just like even the beginning with Cartman shooting Collins, this is the greatest day of my life.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's so funny. And like when Cartman shoots his teenager, and he's like, because he flips the from semi to automatic, because like you're not allowed, they say at the beginning of the episode you can't use it on auto, so like they
Yeah,
like establish that, so he flicks it up and just takes the dude out. Oh man. Anyway, I'll probably watch the new South Park right after this, actually, like after the
same.
watch alongs and everything.
Yeah, same.
Nice.
That's what I'll probably do either later today or tonight after we're done with the post show. But let's get
Yes.
into the topic of conversation here. Craig, Manny, and Ashley, the OG love triangle of Degrassi, primarily featured in like season 3, but there is some stuff in season 2 we got to talk about. There's some stuff in season 4 we got to talk about, and then again season 5, season 6. Because I said it to Jensen before we went live. I'll say it to y'all. These two women didn't know better. They didn't know to stay away from this man, this Craig Manning. I know Jensen likes Craig Manning, but I'm sorry. This is where my detesting of and labeling of Craig as toxic started, was with this love triangle here.
Yeah. Just because I like characters on the show, though, it needs to be like understood. I'm not necessarily saying all these people are like great people. They're just like interesting characters to watch on the show. So like Craig just has a lot of layers to him. And it was kind of badass that he was like getting with all these like super hot chicks too. Like, I mean, like that was like kind of cool. But he was also, really. See, the thing is, if you screw up a couple times, it's like some stuff can slide, stuff can be forgiven, but like throughout the series, Craig does this to like every girl he like interacts with. He like screws them over pretty much. So like that is not that cool. Like after a while, you're like, dude, this went from like you being cool to you being just kind of a dick, So like, but yeah, I just throw it out there. Like there's a lot of layers to Craig, and I liked his music, and I thought he was an interesting character and stuff. But
this is true. So we got to start off here with season 2. So season 2 is when Craig is introduced. Very early on, we established the whole. There's like a miniature love triangle of Craig, Manny, and Emma, because Emma originally has a crush on Craig, but it's very obvious early on that Craig is interested in Manny. So that brings us to Take My Breath Away, where Craig and Manny went on their first date. Craig had a terrible time, describing it to Jimmy Brooks and Spinner Mason as bizarre, quote unquote. However, Manny told Emma Nelson and Liberty Van Sant that it was magical and that they were in a relationship. Craig said that her immaturity reminded him of his 5-year-old half sister Angela Jeremiah, and he could not kiss her for that reason. Her sweet demeanor meant that he was conflicted as to whether or not to tell her how he felt. When Craig and Manning spoke again, she noticed his disinterested tone and believed that he needed some cheering up. So, to that end, she decorated his locker. Craig walked up to his newly decorated locker and frustratedly asked what she did to it. She explained that she thought it would cheer him up. Ashley walked over. So, this is the first hint of this love triangle going on. Ashley walks over, who is kind of showing a little bit of flirtation with Greg at that point, stating that she hopes that she was not interrupting their conversation, and asks Greg to sign her GM food petition. Manny asks what GM food is, to which Ashley replies that GM stands for genetically modified. Manny ignorantly asks, does that make them good?
I mean,
Which
technically, I mean, but they may some not potentially not as good for you, but they might taste better by using that potentially. Anyways, yeah.
True. If you watch Good Burger, they put that stuff in the Mondo burgers. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, they steroided the burgers. That's right. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but yeah, that's right. That's so
With
funny.
so Manny's response irritates both Ashley and Craig. Ashley walks away, after which Manny told Craig that she did not think he should talk to Ashley anymore. An annoyed Craig said that Ashley is in his class, therefore talking to her could be inevitable at times. Manny attempted to change the subject, asking what they're doing Friday night, though then takes the hint that there is something wrong. She asked him if he did not like how she decorated his locker, and he replied, "No, Manny, I'm sorry, but it's not my locker that I don't like. It's you."
Yeah,
Leaving
it's
her
cold.
leaving her heartbroken, and that's the end of the first Manny and Craig interaction or relationship, quote unquote. What did you think about this episode here in season 2?
Yeah, that's cold there at the end. It's not my locker I don't like, it's you. It's like, oh man. Ouch. Yeah, that's gotta sting. But yeah, it's interesting because like you said, when Craig came onto the show, he pretty much was introduced as Angie's babies. No, not Angie's
Big
babies.
brother, big brother.
Well, Angie's big brother, but he was doing. Emma knew him. She used to babysit Emma, right? Is that what it was? He used to babysit Emma, like back
No,
in the
no,
day
I
or
think it was
something.
like they knew each other through the mother before she passed away, because that's when,
Right.
yeah, they
I
used
think
to
if,
like. I think he's only 1 year older than Emma, so I don't know if,
that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
he should be the one babysitting
Or wait, was
her.
Emma babysitting Angie, and
Yes, yes,
that's
yes,
what it
yes. That's
was.
how.
That's
That's
what
how.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Okay, Emma was babysitting Angie, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then so that's how we introduced to Craig, is like she kind of knows who Craig is, and then also we see like the obviously the stuff of him like taking pictures of Jeremy and Angie and or Joey and Angie, I mean, and all that. And then yeah, so like she likes him, but Manny also does. And then Ashley's getting involved here too. I remember when Craig showed up to Degrassi, like the first thing that happens is he like can't find the classroom, and he's talking to Sean, I think,
Yeah.
and like girls are just walking by going like, "Hey, cutie, who's this new guy?" And it's like he immediately was just like in. So
He's the heart. He's the immediately the heartthrob of Degrassi from like Jump, and then the episode where he really kind of shows that he's interested in Manny is the school dance. I think it's "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" is the name of the episode, where Emma and Manny are in supposed to be just at the 7th grade party, which happens like just after school, and then the 8th grade party happens later on, and they sneak there, and Craig kind of sneaks them in, and they're kind of like standing on the side, and Craig comes up to them for a dance, and he acts Manny instead of Emma, and that hurts Emma, and she runs home crying.
there you go. That's right.
So he broke Emma and Manny's heart in season 2 already off to a smashing start, Mr. Manning.
Yeah, that just sets the precedent for the rest of his run on the show. So
Indeed. So we then get into season 3, where or to kind of give it some background before we get into should I stay or should I go, which is kind of the starting point of the real love triangle here. Manny is already become her whole evolution. We watched it on one of our our post show after our GOAT conversation between Manny Santos and Spinner Mason, the episode where Manny goes from sweet innocent Manny to the sexual icon, the fashionista that is Manny Santos, changes her whole look. She gets interest from that dumb dude. I forget his name, the blonde dude that she was like, I think, dating at the time. Um,
like that guy who only like his only story was just that. What
yeah,
was that guy's name? I'll think of it. It's not important, but I'll think of it
yeah,
while you're
and then
going.
so in I should I stay or should I go? Manny greets Craig as he is walking with Marco Del Rossi in the hallway. Marco notices Manny's revealing clothing and says, "Manny's just putting it all out there, huh?" And Craig sarcastically replies, "Never noticed." When Manny doesn't, oh, that's his name, Sully.
Holy yes.
She does not receive a rose from Sully, her boyfriend. She scolds him, saying that Craig sent his girlfriend 12. Sully responds, "Well, he's a sucker." So, as Craig is sing, and remind you that Manny did break JT's heart to start going out with Sully. So, just wanted to also put that out there.
Yeah.
As Craig is singing a song expressing his love for Ashley, because at the time he wants to make things a little bit more steamy. He's trying to get across the baseline. He's trying to get the home plate with Ashley, but Ashley, tells him that she loves him, but he doesn't know how to say it back. So he sings a song to express his love for Ashley. Manny is seen watching admiringly, like, I wish that was me. At the beginning of this episode, like I said, Craig and Ashley are shown making out, and Craig attempts to have sex with her. However, Ashley leaves when Craig doesn't profess his love for her. The next day, Craig sings a song to Ashley to express his feelings. After hearing the song, Ashley decides to have sex with him until she hears Craig bragging to Spinner, and Ashley tells him that they should take a break. Heartbroken, broken, Manny sees Craig angrily leaving Paige Michael Chell's birthday party after having a fight with Ashley and goes to comfort him. She runs after him, yelling for him to wait, but he yells, "Not now, Manny." She asks him what happened, to which he replies, "I messed up. I messed up again and again and again." She tries to calm him down, reassuring him that he didn't, though he retorts, Tell Ashley that." Manny praises Craig on the song he sang to Ashley earlier that day, telling him that it was amazing. And if it were written for her, she'd be happy for months. Then going on to say, forever.
I'm trying to remember which song that one was.
I forget because I literally right now have the song that he used to get Ashley to forgive him stuck in my head. Like,
No,
I can't think
what
of
I
anything other. It's
know.
what I know, and what
Yeah,
I know is
that's what
that
I've got stuck in my head too.
what
There,
I
but what was the
know.
one? What was the one that was before that? Someone in the chat's gonna know. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm
So
trying to find his music on YouTube right now, but it's all the. It's like, I know this isn't the right. Let me see if this. Yeah, I know these are like a little bit later in the series. Someone in the chat will know though.
it's probably all Maya Matlin songs because those are the majority of the ones from Degrassi that get a lot of plays nowadays. Um, we also, yeah, and good point there in the live chat by Bam. Oh no, by Border Dew saying Manny saw her opportunity and slid right in.
Oh
So
yeah.
we move on where Greg takes Manny back to his garage where she requests that he play the song for her. He agrees to do so, though is quickly interrupted by Manny while playing. She tells him that he's the best, and if Ashley doesn't see that, then she doesn't deserve him. Manny grabs his guitar from his hands and places it gently on the floor. She leans in to kiss him on the cheek, only for him to turn and kiss her on the mouth instead. Craig reluctantly turns away, after which Manny reassures him that it's all right. They begin making out and eventually proceed to have sex. While talking to Emma the following day, Manny states that the night she spent with Craig was the best of her life. Emma begs Manny to tell her what happened between them, though Manny refuses to say. Craig walks by and Manny gets up to greet him. She says, "I left you a million messages. You must have been real busy. I missed you." Craig begins explaining, "Look, Manny, I'm not really sure what happened, though is cut off by Ashley, who asks as if she could speak to with Craig. Manny stands aside out of earshot as they talk and is shown watching with a heartbroken expression as Ashley forgives Craig and hugs him. And that is the end of Should I Stay or Should I Go? So yes, I do. As CMCM's right, I am trying to sound like a daytime TV narrator.
So I wonder if this. I remember there was one song. I don't know if I don't know if it was the same one or not, but there was the one that was like. Oh my god! I just had it on the tip of my tongue. It was hold on. I'm pulling it up here. Oh yeah, the one's like something about the way you shine.
Shine,
When the lights go out,
go
I'm gonna
out,
make you
make you
mine. Yeah,
mine.
like I know he sings that around this time, but I don't know if that's the song that Manny liked so much or not.
Yeah, I think that is the
Is
song.
that it? Okay, I was bothering me that I couldn't remember.
And then he kind of says he loves her in the song, but it's like,
That I'm in love
uh,
with you.
yeah, that's how he ends it. With you.
Yeah. Okay.
So creative. Uh, and against all odds, we follow up with this as Manny walks up to Craig and engages in him in a conversation of how he's been. She tells him that she misses him, though he states that there's not much for her to miss as they had only hooked up one time. Damn, burn. Manny informs Craig of a rave that night, and she hands him a flyer with the directions and time information on it. She encourages that he come, no strings attached. Craig comes to the rave after some encouragement from Joey, Jeremiah, and Sydney because they want privacy, and Ashley is out of town. So he says he's going to Jimmy's house, but instead he goes to the rave. And Manny, surprised to see him, greets him and asks him if he would dance with her. He replies, "Why not?" Manny grinds her ass on Craig as they are dancing, placing her arm around his neck and then turning around so that they are face to face with each other. Craig tells Manny that it would be best if he leaves, but she shouts, "Don't." He
Yeah.
reminds her that he has a girlfriend, though she assures him that she can keep a secret. That leads to them going back to Emma's house where Manny is spending the night and they're about to have sex again until Emma comes in and pulls the kibosh on that, which kind of ends Emma and Manny's relationship for that one time because the entire episode, Manny was training Emma on how to make a guy cheat with her because Manny's really good at that. So
That's right. Yep. So yeah, there's just I don't even. These are all just like terrible people right now. They're just like they're all cheating on each other and trying to get people to cheat on other people with them. And but yeah, I remember that like when Craig is when they're dancing at the rave and Manny's like grinding on him and stuff and turns around, she's like, I can keep a secret. Then that's like his like green light. He's like, oh, you're gonna keep a secret? Then like they go like straight for it. So
he's like, no guilt. I have no guilt. I'm not thinking about this. I'm just gonna go for it.
it's like
Because
all I needed to hear was that one thing. Like, all right.
then we get into the nitty gritty here. We go into Holiday part one. We get Craig and Ashley are shown playing in the snow in the beginning of this episode. Later shown at Joey's celebrating Christmas, just as Manny calls in front of Ashley, but Craig ignores it. Manny calls Craig again and asks, "Is this a bad time?" And he answers yes, to which Manny replies, "Right, she's there," referring to Ashley. She then tells him that she was calling only because she missed him. Ashley walks over to Craig, which prompts him to cover up his conversation with Manny by pretending that he is talking to Spinner and then quickly hanging up the phone before she could respond. Manny is shown with a saddened expression upon the abrupt end of their call. After a word with Caitlin Ryan, Craig realizes that Manny is the one for him and tells her that he'll dump Ashley. However, when he goes to Ashley's house to do such, Ashley gives him her grandfather's guitar, and he realizes he can't dump her then.
Yeah. You got a sweet gift, so like you can't just go through with dumping her now.
The episode ends with Craig promising Manny he'll dump her after the holidays, and Manny reluctantly believes him. Also, during this, we also see kind of a side with Craig kind of talking to Spinner because Spinner sees Craig with Manny, and Spinner is basically praising him as the ace boom coom, the king dingaling of Degrassi because he has two girls that are fighting over him.
Yeah. Yeah. Spinner's impressed.
Quite impressed. We move on to holiday part 2. Ashley takes a look at the Christmas gifts she thinks Craig got for her, but is shocked and hurt to see Manny wearing them the next day. So Ashley confronts Manny and they realize that Craig has been lying to the both of them. Then, when Craig and Ashley are supposed to be singing, Craig asks Ashley what's wrong, but Ashley just slaps him in front of everyone across the face. Exits the stage. Craig follows her to see what's wrong, but Ashley confronts Craig, telling him she knew about him and Manny, and she dumps him. And then to follow up and to double down on Craig being a piece of crap, Manny comes in and also says that she knows that he was lying to her and things are over between them as well.
Yeah, now it's all just blowing up in Craig's face.
Pretty much. And if you think that was blowing up in the face, let's get into accidents will happen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So this is also, we have to preface this by saying these episodes, at least like the one real important one in this, like didn't even air in the US. Like,
No.
so like I didn't even know that this happened until like a year ago whenever I like rewatched the show, and I was like, wait a second, I don't remember this episode. Then I like looked into it and I was like, oh, this never aired in the US. Or so you'll understand why as SB3 explains.
Yes, it's if for anyone who's looking it up, it's Degrassi season 3, episode 14 and 15. These were completely scrapped. So a lot of stuff that happens later on in season 3 you don't understand
Right.
if you were watching it live, because some stuff also happens that follows up on that are just you can't even know about because they originate here and accidents will happen. But the main crust of the story is basically Manny realizes that she's missed her period and she's been sick lately, and she thinks that she might be pregnant. Ashley, who is still, well, at the beginning, Ashley, who is still bitter about her breakup with Craig, tries to ignore Manny when she decides to confront her and knows she hates her, but Ashley decides to pack up her things, and Manny says she's sorry. And Ashley, however, retaliates by telling her sorry doesn't make up for all the trouble that she caused. Manny then tells Ashley that she knows, but Craig told her she was the one, and that's the only reason she let it go on. Craig lied to her too, and she'd erased it if she could. Ashley then tells Manny that she's going to be late, and Manny leaves while Ashley looks at Manny to think about what she just said. We follow this up with basically at the end of this episode. That's when Manny realizes that she is pregnant. She gets comfort from Spike as well as Emma. And accidents will happen part 2 when Paige tells Ashley about Manny being pregnant, because in the previous episode it was Paige who Manny asks, how do you know a guy has put on a condom when he had sex with her?
Right. Yeah. Well, because like it was like her first time, right? So like
Yes.
she didn't know one way or the other. So like I think that's also how, like, because Paige is like, wait, how could you not have known? And she's like, this is like my first time. And it's like, oh damn, like this is
And
gonna be pretty heavy.
she does
So
tell her that the only way to find out for sure is by asking the guy. And Manny is on like this gymnast competition, and she like messes up, so she's all upset about it. She walks out the gym. Craig comes in to comfort her because he's like the photographer for the meet, and tells her everything's gonna be all right. But she then asks him, did you wear a condom? And Craig responds by saying, well, Manny, I asked you and you said it was all right, so I thought that meant that you were on the pill. That is a huge jump in my opinion, but he is also 15, 16 years old, so I guess yeah.
these are two irresponsible kids who don't know what they're doing, that are making just bad decisions together,
Absolutely.
unfortunately. And also, like, this is a, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, props. And I mean, obviously, Spike, had Emma in high school on the original show, so like Spike can relate to to what kind of is going on here as
Yeah,
well. So
I love how they really connected this whole story to the whole Spike and Emma dynamic, where Spike was very comforting and Emma was very comforting at first when she thinks that Manny's gonna have the baby, and then she's really against Manny when Manny makes a decision to get it aborted. But the main crux of the love triangle part of this story is in the cafeteria after Ashley finds out that Manny is pregnant from Paige. Ashley, who is still bitter about Craig cheating on her, spots Craig and Manny looking at a book of baby names and asks what they've got there, and she snatches the book from them. Then Ashley makes the announcement in front of the entire school and tries to force Craig and Manny to tell their news, but says, oh, they're too modest. And she tells everyone that Craig got Manny pregnant. These two idiots are having a baby, was her exact words, and that is too difficult for them to use protection. This causes Manny to leave the cafeteria in tears. She also overhears Paige talking shit about her having a baby, and Ashley, still bitter, tells Craig, I can't believe you slept with her, making the conflict with them too.
Yeah, just not good. So like Emma's obviously, because Emma's so strong in her viewpoint, because like if Spike would have aborted her in the same situation that Manny is in right now, then Emma wouldn't be there, and like that's why she's so like, you know, I understand why she would be like that. And then yeah, it's tough because also, I mean, let's be honest, when we were like 15 and stuff, like we didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea what we were doing. And like, yeah. I'm not saying like to have unprotected sex is a good thing. I'm just saying like, dude, I don't think I knew how to put a condom on until I was like old. I'm definitely older than 15. I'm not, once again, like if you're going to be having sex, you got to know that stuff, because like you don't want situations like this to happen. But it's just everyone involved just being young and naive and kind of stupid and inexperienced and just making a lot of mistakes. And that's so yeah, it's just unfortunate that things wound up going this direction, especially for like your first time having sex and stuff. Like what a bad like first experience to have, like that, like all of this came attached to it, you know, like so yeah, just bad, unfortunate all the way around, unfortunately for all these people.
Indeed. And I do agree with CM. Ashley was right to be upset, but I don't think there's anything right about exposing it to the entire school and making that announcement in the cafeteria.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, this we call Ashley Trashly all the time here on this show. So like wow. See, this this is a real thing that's totally, I mean, shit, it could have happened. Like the first time I had sex, I didn't wear a condom, and I think I was like probably 17, and that wasn't because it was straight up because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like it was just like, I was just dumb. I was just dumb and stupid. You know what I mean? And I just got lucky. I just got lucky that the girl didn't get pregnant, essentially. But like, I could understand why this is also why this show is so important with these kind of messages, because like this kind of situation is like super relatable to young kids who are having sex like really young. I mean, it's just, these are things that can happen. And I mean, obviously, like CM said, like someone that got pregnant with twins the first time she had sex, like that's wild. So, but it's very possible.
Yeah, and great comment by Desi saying Ashley got cheated on. I get it. It sucks, but Manny had to make some life-changing decisions off the back of it. She didn't deserve what she got from it. Yeah, like it was really like they made Manny the villain in all of this, when Craig is as responsible or even more responsible because he's older than her as well. So like Border Dude said, they didn't get that far in health class yet. I don't remember taking health class in freshman year. Like that's the year that Manny's in. Like I remember it coming into play in sophomore year though. So Craig should have at least gotten some condoms from health class or something. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of place blame kind of equally across the board, but at the same time, like I feel the worst for Manny by far in the situation. Like everyone made mistakes going into this, but like the big disconnect there is like Craig not understanding the whole, like, you're not like, you got to wrap it up. Like, yeah, either way, like when you're that young, especially. And like, that was a huge mistake on his part, like huge mistake in the misunderstanding of like because that's how I remember it, right? It wasn't like him actually trying to like trick her. It was like he thought that she said that she was on the pill. So it was
Yeah.
just like it was a misunderstanding. But Manny's the one who like is going to be the most affected by this by far. Like between her, Ashley, and Craig, like she's the one who has to like really deal with like the real consequences of this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? As much as I feel like everyone involved is a bit responsible, I definitely feel the worst for Manny when it comes to this, for sure.
100%. And they're kind of have their whole falling out at the end of the episode when Manny does decide that she's going to get an abortion. Craig is vehemently against it. She realizes that this was only about the baby for him, and they are not really good for each other, and they're not good for a baby right now. So that's why she makes her decision, and that kind of ends their relationship for now. We move into later in season 3, the Rock and Roll High School, which is the fallout from Craig and Ashley. Craig and his band, Downtown Scratch Crush, sign up for Degrassi's Battle of the Bands and finds out he's going against Ashley and her band, Hell Hath No Fury. Later in class, Ashley is told to read something, which Craig laughs at, and it hurts Ashley. After school, when Craig is at a music store, Ashley is also there, and she sees Craig but leaves when he spots her. Then Craig tries to apologize to Ashley, which makes her feel even worse due to what happened. The next day, when both bands are practicing, Ashley's band is after Craig's, and they perform an insulting song directed towards Craig. The next day, Craig confronts Ashley to not perform the song at the Battle of the Bands, and this leads to them getting into another argument. Craig is then about to tell Ashley to go to hell, but is interrupted by Archie Simpson. The next day, Ashley, Paige Michaelchuk, Ellie Nash, and Hazel Adan are walking down the hall wearing shirts with Craig on fire. I love the slow motion shot of them just walking down like it's so badass with the shirts. Then Craig and Ashley get into another argument, and Craig tells Ashley that he's sorry multiple times and asks how many times he has to apologize, and Ashley says until he means it. Then after Ashley performs, Craig is shown is kind of conflicted. He doesn't even show up on stage. At first, Chris Spinner kind of makes up a song that they're gonna do, but then Craig finally shows up. He's shown performing, and Ashley is listening to his song "What I Know." What I know is that I hurt you, and I know what I know is that I suck, and what I know is that I
That I'm
hurt.
sorry. And then I
Then
hurt you. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great song, though.
it is a great song.
That's one is like everything I touch just
Just
turns to
turns to
dust.
dust.
Yeah,
Oh, great stuff. That's his best song
Ashley.
he's done.
Yeah, he had some good ones for sure. Was Ashley's song was Mr. Nice Guy on that one,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
stuff. Great stuff. Then
Okay.
after Battle of the Bands, Greg's band wins the competition, and Ashley compliments him on it and begins to forgive him. And that leads us into season 4, where we see the reuniting of Ashley and Craig. Crashly, I think is their couple name, Crashly, which appropriately is very appropriate for what they are. Angel, I love that comment. I hope when Degrassi merch, when it goes to HBO Max, that we get we get these iconic shirts. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I just saw Shane Kippel, who played Spinner Mason. I just saw last night he dropped another T-shirt, or he's like coming up with a T-shirt design, and it's all about it's like a book, and it says what did it say? It says like boner hider or something like that. Or boner shield. It says boner
Yes,
shield on
Boner
it.
Shield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta get that. We gotta get that shirt. That shirt is epic. Oh, that's
Yeah, they
great.
had two designs. One was a book that just had boner shield on it. The other was like it was like emojis, like a book emoji next to a eggplant emoji next to a shield emoji. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the more famous Spinner episodes there. So yeah, like I said, season 4, basically the Battle of the Bands got them studio time. So Greg's band is going into the studio, and he decides that Ashley is like the missing link to Downtown Squash, which doesn't go well with Jimmy, Spinner, and Marco. There's a lot of conflicting on the sound and what songs they should make, but Craig decides to choose Ashley over the studio time and over the band, and they reunite at that same time. Craig is going through his bipolar disorder, or discovering that he has bipolar disorder. He asks Ashley to marry him at her dad's wedding. He destroys a hotel with Joey's card on it. He beats the crap out of Joey at the end of that 2-part episode, which Ashley is the one that kind of makes the save and tells him to calm down, and he goes to the hospital. He gets the meds that he needs. He starts going to, group therapy. Then at the end of the season, Ashley fucks him over again by leaving and going to London, and basically Craig goes through another bipolar disorder where he meets, what's the guy's name that steals his guitar?
I think it was Skinny, right?
Skinny, yeah.
Skinny. Yeah, it's like a homeless dude that he hangs out with. He's like a homeless guy doing like street music on like he's playing like the drums or something on like a trash can.
That's I would argue that's one of the better season finale 2-parters that they've done.
Yeah,
that whole drama with, because you had the whole Jay and Silent Bob film at the school going on, and then Craig with his whole drama. Craig's supposed to make a song for the movie and stuff. So yeah,
that's like
a lot going on.
He's like sleeping at the school, and they like realize he's like staying there. Yeah. Like when you meet Skinny, he's like playing street music with him, and they're like making a little bit of money because like Craig's got his guitar. And he's got like that really expensive guitar that he used
bought with his dad's money. Yeah.
Yeah. So he spent like $5,000 on it or something crazy. And yeah, the Skinny tries to get him to like mug a guy at a gas station. Like he was like outside of his car. He's gonna like go rob the dude. And Craig like doesn't want to do it. So Skinny just beats him up and takes his guitar from him. It's like, yeah. And then they find Craig just like, oh no, then he goes to like that shelter, and he's like, and that's where they someone sees him on the news, like a missing person thing, and that's so yeah.
It's crazy storyline. So Craig is in like group after that incident, not after the first bipolar incident that he had. After that incident, he goes into group. That's when he starts developing his friendship with Ellie. He spurns Ellie though to restart his relationship with Manny. There's like the great episode where Manny and Ellie are like dressing up for like their band's like performance at this girl's wedding, and like they're competing against each other, but eventually he chooses Manny because he helps out Manny after she becomes persona non grata once again when she exposes her boobs to the entire school, or Peter Stone exposed her boobs to the entire school at the beginning of season 5. So they get back into the relationship, which of course it will eventually end horribly. But before we get into that, when Ashley returns home from London in high fidelity in season 5, Ellie told her that that Craig was in Vancouver pursuing his solo music career, and that he was dating Manny. Ashley said that this made her vaguely itchy. Later that day, Craig arrived back in Toronto to attend the class of 2006 graduation ceremony, and when he looked over at her, Ashley awkwardly averted her gaze.
Yeah.
And then we go into season 6, which is the whole drama, the fallout of Craig and Manny when he returns to town again. He's got a Coke addiction. He gets Manny to do Coke. This kind of ends their relationship.
Hold on. We got to be honest about that. She like begs him for the Coke because she doesn't feel like she gets along with. He wasn't pushing it on her. She wanted in on that, and then she wants out immediately. She tries it, and she's like, "This is not for me." But
because
when you said that, made it sound like he showed up and was like, hey Manny, do this coke with me.
Do
She
this
was like,
coke.
I
Yeah,
want some
you're
coke
right.
because I don't
You're
get
right.
along with your friends.
You're right.
So
I'm trying to paint Craig as in bad of a light as possible to make Manny Santos look better. Yes, I am, ladies and gentlemen. I will
no,
not
to
deny my
be
Manny
fair,
bias.
she does not like it, and she like wants him off it, and then he starts lying to her about stopping. So like ultimately, Craig is the bad guy in this scenario once again, but it just yeah, we just gotta be honest here with how these things are happening.
This is why you're here, Jensen, because I have Manny bias. I will not deny that I have Manny bias, and this is how I view things, and not what really went down. Because the whole story of the love triangle ended, so I'm not even reading from a script anymore. I'm just going off of my memory.
True,
So,
that's fair. That's fair.
So yes, he does. Eventually, they break up. You get Ellie, who eventually gets him the help that he needs to get over this addiction to coke. And then we go to, I think it's season 7, when Ashley is back with Jimmy. She has her falling out with Jimmy because Jimmy is a much better musician than she ever was because he's rapper Drake. But Ashley does get her break by Craig coming back into town for this whole performance, and he basically gets Ashley on stage to perform with him, and they announce that she's going on tour with Craig. At that same time, that's when Manny finally realizes that she's in love with Jay, and she was like, I thought I was in love with Craig, but I'm really in love with Jay. So that is the complete love triangle and story of Craig Manning, Ashley Kerwin, and Manny Santos.
Yes. And we're going to watch 2 of these episodes right after this. So make sure to join us. We're going to be watching the first episode where like this kind of starts, and then we're going to watch the episode that includes the Battle of the Band stuff that we were talking about too, with some of this banger music. But yes, an iconic love triangle. The first love triangle in Degrassi, or no? I can't.
I want to say this is the most iconic for sure of the love triangles. I wouldn't say the first, because you can kind of say maybe Jimmy, Ashley, and Sean at the end of season 1. Kind of.
Yeah, there was a little bit of like kind of like people kind of cheating a little bit here and there, but this was like,
and that goes into like the early part of season 2 as well, when Ashley is kind of trying to decide if she wants to go full emo or go back to what she really was. She goes on a date with Sean, so that kind of still continues on. So it's more than just one episode of that love triangle dynamic.
I completely forgot they went on a date after that. But this one like this lasted like a while though, between like Ashley, Manny, and Craig. So yeah, definitely a moment in history for Degrassi the Next Generation, that's for sure. And pretty much everybody came out of it all kind of looking like bad people, unfortunately. Like nobody really like came out looking great out of this thing.
No, everybody.
The funny thing is I like Ashley the least out of all 3 of them after, and she was like the one who like actually has the least blame in this entire scenario.
Absolutely. She has no blame whatsoever in this situation, but like we literally dragged her for being justifiably mad and exposing that they got each other pregnant. We dragged her more than anything we've said about Manny or Craig during this whole entire, well, except for me saying that Craig pushed drugs on Manny. That's how my brain remembers.
Now, I mean, to be fair, ultimately, it is Craig's fault, because like he's the one who's like doing the drugs to begin with. Like, so but it was just funny how like, well, not funny, but like that's just that he's doing drugs. He doesn't want anyone else knowing he's doing the drugs. Manny realizes he's doing the drugs, and then Manny wants in on the drugs because she just doesn't feel comfortable around Craig's friend. They're like all home from college, and they're like. Did you ever in your life? We both graduated from college. Like, did you ever outside of school have a conversation where you're sitting at a dinner table like they were and being like, "Yeah, the philosophy is on this book that we've been reading in school. No. Did you read Thurdeau or whatever?" And it's like,
I never talked about my college classes with any of my high school friends when I met up with them again.
No,
never.
So then these people are like actively in college, and like they're spending their time having dinner parties and being like talking about like philosophies and stuff that they're learning in school. And Manny's just like can't add to the conversation because she's not like
she's still in high school.
Yeah, she's still in high school, and she doesn't have any idea what they're talking about. So she's like, all right, I want to fit in with your friends. So she starts doing coke with Craig. And then, like I said, she's immediately like, this isn't for me. And he just keeps lying that he's quit. And then he also tries to place, Ellie finds out.
Oh yeah,
he
and
tries
he
to tell
placed the
her that
blame.
it was Manny's.
That's why my brain is like, he pushed it on her because he literally tried to use her as the out when Ellie finds the drugs.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that's why my brain remembered it. I apologize. I appreciate Jensen for correcting course and telling y'all what really happened because I am Manny biased. We have established.
He's real.
Wu-Tang. Bam. Yes. I mean, if we do get President Obama on FMC for the request of Jeremy, I will ask him to make Emma and Sean being Endgame canon because we need that. We need
that'd
that.
be hilarious.
We need that.
We need you to use your power to change the results of a TV show that ended.
That was the story that I told. I was at a holiday party in 2011 around the time when the NBA vetoed the trade of Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
I was at the holiday party. People are thanking Obama for being the first black president, thanking him for his contribution, creating all these jobs. I go up to Barack Obama and I was like, could you veto the veto trade of Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Lakers? And he legit laughed. It was like, that's like the best thing anybody said to me because he's a big basketball fan. So he got a chuckle off of me saying that. So I always bring that up whenever that trade is brought up to me.
That's hilarious. That's good. That's a good use of your opportunity. There was when I was way younger. I was in Phoenix, Arizona with my dad, and Bud Selig was there, who was the MLB commissioner. And this was like this is probably like pre 2010, like, I mean, maybe 2005 or maybe a little earlier. I can't remember, but he was at the bar. And I remember my dad, like, we went up to him, and my dad, like, one question, he just like asked if like Pete Rose was going to get in the Hall of Fame or not. Like, you could ask him anything, and he's like, are y'all ever going to put Pete Rose in? Like, because that was like always the big question. And he was like, I think I remember him saying, like, if it was up to me, I would. It's just like there's just too much politics behind it, and like, but he wanted to do it. But I know what you mean, where like you meet somebody and it's like, you only got like one question, so like, you might as well just like ask the thing you really want to know, because like they're gonna talk to 1,000 people after you anyway. They're not gonna like remember you or like make fun of you for like asking something. So like. Yeah. Like, yes,
and he was the president of the United States. So I was like, if I could ask anybody to veto the commissioner of the NBA, it would be the president.
Yeah, it's genius. That'd be hilarious if he did that. And like, you were the reason that like that all got. Dude, that was bullshit. I remember that happening. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to veto trades like that. That was so stupid.
I stand by that. That totally changed the course of the Lakers' history, ladies and gentlemen.
Because when else has that ever even happened?
Never.
Yeah.
Like, never.
And what's even the I don't even understand how they are allowed to do that. I guess they feel like the trade's unfair, so
it was at the time that the NBA owned the New Orleans New Orleans. Right. Yeah, so that was the whole thing. That was why they were able to kind of veto it. But yeah, you're gonna get me on a tirade like I was on FMC. But I agree with CM in the live chat who says Jay and Manny was greater than Ashley and Craig. I do agree with that. I love the Jay and Manny relationship. We also got CM who says, let's not lie, Jimmy and Ashley both suck. We also got Border Dude who says, pretty sure it is the love triangle. So yes, anyone who caught us late, and Desi also adding in, because she's trash. Yes, Trashly is trash. So
Trashly.
We hope you all join us, twitch.tv/fight talk _ or twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Wrestling, or Steven Jensen at Fight Talk _ on the Twitter machine. We will be going live in about 5 minutes because I already sent Jensen the link here, and we're gonna be going live to watch should I stay or should I go, and the Rock and Roll High School episodes of this love triangle that we just discussed. Remember, everyone, to drop a like on this video, share it with your friends, all your Degrassi fans. Make sure to tag Degrassi if you share it on the Twitter machine. And of course, like always, let us know in the comments down below what relationship, friendship, character, storyline you want us to discuss on Degrassi Dudes, because this show is as much yours as it is mine and Jensen. CM's ready. Hope you're all ready. We're going live in just a few minutes on Twitch. So this has been Degrassi Dudes on Fightful Overbooked. We will see you next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fightful Overbooked. For Jensen, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and this has been Degrassi Dudes.
See you in a couple minutes.